Morning, this is Brian. Today is a beautifully cool, crisp, post-rain day. Sunday, January 24th, 2020. And I'm in the Elsinore Mountains again, just like last week when I did all those spotlight videos on the black sage and sawtooth golden bush and San Diego sunflower. Just a little bit further down on Main Divide Road. I'm right over here by 7S04. This is South Main Divide Road, aka Killen Trail, Killen. Also known, like I said, also known as South Main Divide, the paved portion of it. Like I said, I'm right here by 7S04. What I was planning on doing today was making another hike up to Elsinore Peak. And yes, I've done a few video sets on Elsinore Peak. However, I'm starting from a very different area. The usual dirt road route that most people will take up to Elsinore Peak is a little ways down on Main Divide Road. I'm a little ways south of that right now. What I was going to try to do is try to make this a little bit more of a challenging hike and navigate using fire breaks and use trails and game trails. So this is going to be a little bit more of a navigational challenge than what I've done for quite a while here. So it's just to start getting me back into the actual hiking bit, because I've been sorely lacking in hikes lately. You've probably seen a lot of my videos where I just haven't been on the trail. But I'm trying to change that up right now. So what I'm going to do is my plan is to head up and either follow the ridge or follow a dirt road that leads that way towards the north. And then there are going to be a couple navigational challenges, because there are a lot of game trails and use paths that crisscross the area. So what I'm going to have to do is make sure that I'm going the right way, because I know there's going to be one area where I'm going to actually have to make a turn to the right. So today's going to be a little bit more of a navigational challenge, definitely more so than other hikes I've done to Elsinore Peak. The last hike I did back in July, I went up the typical service road, then went down through a series of use trails and game trails, and actually had to go completely off trail on a warm summer day, trying to look out for rattlesnakes so I can get back to my car. There's a little use trail here. I found this by using Google Earth. So now I'm going to use this to navigate my way to Elsinore Peak. So we'll see how this goes today. Never gone to Elsinore Peak this way before. First off, before I make any really significant progress, get too far up, I got enough water. Just want to make sure everything's closed up. I know I made sure that my doors are locked, but I just want to make sure all my windows are up. It's always good to make sure that everything's good before you head out, especially if you're going to be a fair distance from your vehicle. Yeah. Yeah, everything's up, I could tell from here. Just didn't want to go halfway up and start thinking about it. Alright, well, onward and upward. So, as opposed to the typical Elsinore Peak hike, this one's going to have a little more elevation gain. When I checked Google Earth, the elevation over here is about 2,900 feet, and the top of Elsinore Peak is 3,575. I'd say it's probably about 2,950 feet, roughly. But that's going to make this hike roughly about 600 feet elevation gain. So it's nothing insane. But it could be more, depending on if there are a lot of ups and downs. But trying to get back to hiking again after a long hiatus. And this will be my first, well, let's say my second peak hike in the last 2 months. Some nice mature Chemise up here. Nice mature ones. So this area is very fire prone. See a lot of burn scars all along here. From the imagery I saw on Google Earth, this trail system goes through this area, which is recovering Chaparral, and then it eventually, if I remember correctly, goes into more undisturbed Chaparral higher up, and I think it's where the use trail. I have to really pay attention to where I'm going. Not too worried about getting lost, but it'd be nice if I could find my way to the peak from a very different direction. Sometimes I like to, oh, you can tell, I like to do videos on the same areas a lot. And the reasoning is they hold, special places for me. They hold special memories for me. I just like them. They're just beautiful as heck. And see, we're already into much less disturbed Chaparral already. I love going up to Elsinore Peak because you get some really insane views up there. But I don't want to go the same way every single time. The typical route is hiking up the service road from its junction with South Main Divide. You just hike up the service road a half a mile with about 200 feet of gain, and you're up there. But I wanted to try something a little more challenging and different scenery. And now, this is the imagery I was looking at, where it looks kind of faint because there's a lot of Chaparral here. Very mature stand. And it's beautiful over here. I don't know how much foot traffic this place gets. Probably not much. But I brought a few masks with me in case social distancing becomes an issue at any point. Not that I anticipate it, but I do see tracks here, so I'm sure mountain bikers probably use this occasionally. You see some tire tracks on the dirt, look like mountain bike tracks. This is what I needed. Nice little warm-up hike to get back into it. Ooh, thick leaf yerba santa. Haven't been near much of this lately. Beautiful Areodictyon crassifolium variety crassifolium. They're pretty common up here in the Santa Ana range. Must be some kind of disturbance. Probably the rutting here. Because yerba santa, that type of yerba santa, tends to like popping up in disturbed places. Wow, this is an incredible little trail here. This is a beautiful little spot. Can't even see Elsinore Peak from here. This might actually be a fairly decent distance hike for getting up to Elsinore Peak. Also trying to research other ways up there. I like it up there because the views are spectacular. Looking right down into Lake Elsinore, Temescal Valley. You can see all the major mountain ranges here in Southern California. And where we are, we're in a satellite or sub-range of the Santa Ana Mountains, whose main mountain mass is over that way. The Elsinore Mountains are kind of like a southeastern continuation thereof, but distinct enough, I guess, to merit their own name. Wow. It was mostly Chemise here. It's kind of a south-facing slope. Hiking this in the summer would be brutal. Because right now it's in the 40s. Probably 40s. Maybe mid, upper 40s. Already starting to break a sweat. It's not steep or anything. This is pretty easy. It's just I have a very, very high tolerance to cold weather. So scenery is breathtaking up here. I do love the Chaparral, as you know. Love hiking in it. I know there are a couple different ways I can get to Elsinore Peak. I could follow a use trail that goes on the southwest side of the mountain, or I can even get up and take an old fire break or use trail that actually goes along the spine of the ridge, if I can figure out how to get there. So this will be a little bit of a navigational challenge, especially since I've never gone this way before, but should be an interesting way to get to Elsinore Peak. Plus I'll feel more like I earned it. Like I said, normal hike is a 1 mile round trip. Half mile up, 200 feet up, and half mile down, 200 feet down. So this gives me a little more of a backcountry feel. Like I said, you can't even see it from here. Cannot even see Elsinore Peak from here. Wow, it's gorgeous up here. It's almost a pure stand of common Chemise. course, you get some other guys mixing in, but this is definitely what Chemise can do. And these shrubs are pretty tall, so these trees have not been, I'm saying trees, these shrubs, some of them are getting close to tree size, have not been disturbed, cut down, or burnt for a long time. So Chemise can get quite large. Some of these are about 10 feet tall, and I think I've seen them even a little bit taller in some spots before. But it's kind of nice to be in a really mature stand of chaparral. Of course, you know, the shrubs are way over your head. I mean, I've been in some chaparral that's so thick that it actually shades you. That you're like actually hiking in chaparral and you're not fully exposed to the sun. Usually that's when you're hiking in Ceanothus crassifolius, variety crassifolius, hairy leaf Ceanothus chaparral, because when they establish after a fire, they can get really tall and they can actually form like a miniature forest. And we're steadily gaining elevation. Like I said, it's nothing ridiculous. It's just been a long time since I've really been hiking, like real hiking. These other videos that I've shot in the last week, those were me driving to a spot, shooting video, poking around for a while, getting in the car, driving to another spot, poking around, getting video, and going to another spot. Just haven't really been in the mood for hiking. I mean, part of me wants to get out there and do it, and part of me just wants to kick back and relax. Well, today, finally got to start getting back into it. A lot of black sage. I had a spotlight video on that one last week. Just a little ways up the road from where I am right now. Not that far from South Main Divide. This hike's not going to go insanely far from the highway or the road. Now we're getting views towards Orange County starting to open up. I had hoping I was going to be above the clouds today, but I mean, you can still see some pretty good views. Beautiful up here, I will tell you. This is one of the definitions of happiness right here. In my case, chaparral, hiking in chaparral, when it's not 100 degrees out, of course. Then it's happy because I'm in the chaparral, but sweltering because it's 100 degrees out. I'll tell you. Yeah, we're starting to get up towards the ridge line a little bit. Now we've gained a little bit. Maybe there'll be some views when I get up here to the ridge. Well, it won't be of Elsinore Peak. I don't see views of Elsinore Peak. But you get a good view towards the San Mateo Canyon Wilderness. That right there is a random peak. It's not even on Peak Bagger, but it's shown on the topo maps as Peak 3492. This is that one right there. And in that little dome right there, it's Peak 3451. But my battery's about to give out. I have to go dig for some more. And I'll see you on clip number 2.